Hello, everyone, and welcome to this business highlight with Duncan Bhaskaran Brown. So excited to have him join us today. And as we dive in, I'm excited to be your host interviewing Duncan today, all about his business. And we're going to be diving into the I Move method and how Duncan is using I Move, which stands for intuition, marketing, operations, velocity, which is strategies, and execution to really help propel his business forward. So I'm your host, Taylor Proctor, and I'm your Get Good at Business coach, helping you get good at business so you can get back into the heart of why you got into business in the first place. And like I mentioned, today we are joined by Duncan. And Duncan drank wine, cider, brandy, what have you got? After 20 years of wanton excess, he cleaned up his act and trained with the world's most successful stop smoking clinic, which wasn't enough. He studied at Cornell University with the Chartered Management Institute and a windowless room in Petersburg, which wasn't enough. He wrote a couple of books, including Real Men Quit, The Armchair Macho Guide to Beating Booze, which wasn't enough. He interviewed sober superstars and conducted research projects which involved watching TV, what would be enough? Imagine if alcohol-free was the default and sober was the normal, and if alcohol stops destroying people. Maybe then Duncan could grab a mint tea, a sci-fi novel, and relax. Maybe. So we're so excited to have you join us today, Duncan.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to chatting.
Love it. So let's dive in. Such a good bio there, giving us a good insight into your background, the inspiration. Why don't you share with us that pivotal moment or the inspiration that led you to create your business, which is focused on reshaping relationships with alcohol?
So, this is the point where I should tell you the 4 a.m. staring in the mirror story that is so beloved of the sober memoir. But, unfortunately, I think those are kind of rubbish. And I'm always a little bit skeptical about pivotal moments. But, the thing that got me to stop drinking was my wife had a miscarriage, and that was really hard. And obviously, I was drinking a lot, and I didn't really know how to help her or to support her, so I just did what I knew how to do, which was go off and do some drinking, and that was, of course, completely unhelpful, and that really kind of pushed everything to a head. And then I got to the point where I had to decide really whether I wanted to have another drink or whether I wanted to have a family. I made the correct decision, you'll be pleased to know, and I stopped drinking, and that transformed my life. Apart from the having the kid thing and the marrying the wife thing, that was the greatest thing I'd ever done. And at the time, I was doing a lot of coaching and training, and I was just really helping people to replicate some of the success that I'd had in life. And I realized the biggest success I had in life was stopping drinking. So why would I not start to try and help people to transform their relationship with alcohol?
I love that. And so how long have you been helping people transform that relationship?
So I've been doing that for just over 6 years now.
Wonderful. Love it. So when it comes to alcohol awareness and coaching, let's ask about the intuition, right, of the I Move. So how do you tap into your intuition to shape the vision for your business, especially as you help create spaces for people to break free from alcohol's grip, which can also be a huge intuitive block?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in terms of all of the good stuff like self-awareness, like intuition, like self-compassion, like meaning and purpose, all of that good stuff gets totally and utterly drowned by alcohol. And that, yeah, absolutely, that was my experience. I was just kind of, from the outside, it looked like I was doing very well, but I wasn't really going anywhere. I wasn't doing things that were fulfilling. I was essentially quite successful, but quite unhappy. And stopping drinking, it's definitely the biggest thing that I've ever done to, build that self-awareness, to focus in on what I actually want from life, meaning, purpose, all of that kind of stuff. But these days, I think the thing that I do most is I do try and guide my intuition. I try to be really, really super clear about who I want to talk to. So, I spend a lot of time building the avatars based in part on previous clients, based in part on a few friends of mine who probably should be clients. But I have that super, super clear, and that really helps to just guide me whenever I'm doing anything. It helps me to make those decisions. And I think that clarity about who you're speaking to as a writer, as a content creator, as a business person, that's one of the most important things for me.
I love that. And so you mentioned creating personas and things like that. So let's look at the marketing, the M of I move. What unconventional strategies have you found to be effective in speaking to those personas and spreading the word about your business and taking those crucial steps to sobriety? We live in a day and age where it feels like you're either all in or you're all out with sobriety. So what unconventional marketing strategies have you employed to really connect to that persona and that audience?
For sure. So I mean, I do want to point out that I am not necessarily the enemy of people that want to drink alcohol. I'm
Of
not
course not.
like sobriety is the only way. But I do know it gets a bit polarized sometimes. So I just want to point out that I'm a nice guy, really. But to actually answer your question, the most unconventional thing I do is I eat vegetables.
Okay.
Everybody knows they should eat vegetables, but honestly, how many people actually do it? I had a little bit of a count up before we came on. I've had 12 portions of fruit or vegetable today. I might point out that I'm not on the same time zone as you, so I've done a bit more eating. But that I think is such a fundamental point that everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing, but
Mhm.
very few people actually do it. I've been into so many business courses, masterminds, all of the kind of things, and people they pay an awful lot of money for somebody to explain to them something that is at the end of the day fairly obvious in the first place, and then they don't go and do anything about it. So I think the most unconventional thing that I do is I actually just do stuff. It's all very obvious, it's all content, it's all outreach, it's all it's all marketing. None of it's like spectacularly original, but I actually do it, and I do an awful lot of it.
I love that. That's awesome. And you eat your vegetables.
Oh yes, absolutely. My mum is so proud.
So good. So let's talk about operations. Do you want to shed some light on some of your key operational measures that you've implemented to support the growth and the impact of your business?
Yeah, well, the thing that changed everything for me was really it was a shift in mindset. I mean, for a long time, I just thought, right, I can do this. Web design, how hard can it be? Uh, like whatever you've got, I can do it. I can solve these problems. I can do it all myself. And it was getting to the point where I realized that that really wasn't working. And that while, I maybe quite enjoy doing some of the design stuff, it's really not my skill set. And what I spend 10 hours doing, I could just pay somebody to do and concentrate and focus on the stuff that I do. So I think there was this big mindset shift from how can I do that to who can I get to do that? And actually working with other people and building a team, that's what's really propelled the business. That's what's taken it to different levels. And I am able to just focus on the stuff that I do well, and then I get other people to do all of the stuff that, yeah, I probably could do, but I was not put on this earth to actually figure out how WordPress works.
I love that. And it's really funny. I have this book right here, The Who Not How, right? And
Yeah.
that's exactly it. That same concept of who do we hire to help build that operational support to really help us grow. So I love that.
Oh, I mean, I am not very original. The only difference is I actually do it.
Which I do think is an important part to point out, right? And even in operational standpoints, you called out that people join masterminds and all those things and they learn and they don't implement. And it's even in an operational strategies standpoint, it's giving yourself the time to implement and test and create as well as learn. And that will push you forward. And then okay, I hate spending time on WordPress. Let's make enough money so that I can actually have somebody else do that and support. And then the whole thing grows and we all make that impact together. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I always try and phrase it the right way round. I mean, I do a lot of partnership work, and I always sort of try and remember to say, look, let's do something great, let's change the world, and accidentally make a load of money while we do it. Occasionally, I say it the wrong way round, and it makes it sound like I'm just interested in the money, but um, money's nice, it's quite useful.
But I mean, let's face it, what you help people do obviously isn't for the money. It's making that impact and reshaping the relationships and changing their lives. And the money gets to be a complementary part of that.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I've got a 7-year-old daughter, and she wants a unicorn. And do you know how expensive unicorns are?
I love it. Well, I mean, obviously, part of this operational piece that we've spoken about is also strategies that are giving your business velocity, like the strategy of collaboration and connecting with these right people to really help grow and make that impact. What other strategies have you employed to maintain and accelerate your business, specifically in helping the individuals that you work with get the support that they need to overcome the addiction, if you will, to alcohol?
Yeah, so I've always been really a huge fan of diagnostic tools. We use quite a lot of sort of really good, robust, scientifically validated diagnostic stuff in the coaching that I do. But one of the things that has really helped us with that is automating some of it and putting them into sort of quizzes. We try and call them quizzes because it's a little bit less pressurized, isn't it? But we've got to maybe drink a little bit less quiz, and that's really useful because it gives people a very clear idea about where their drinking is. Are you actually drinking at that lowest risk level, or has it creeped up into that kind of moderate risk, or maybe moderate to severe risk? And then a lot of people that actually proactively come and fill out the form end up in the highest risk section, because sometimes I think the form should just say, are you filling out a questionnaire about your drinking online? If yes, then you probably do have a problem. But actually automating it and driving people to it, that has been really useful in terms of lead generation. It gives us a really good idea about people before we actually engage with them, before we do the kind of chemistry cool stuff. I've got a really good idea of where they're at and what their drinking looks like. So from that kind of conversion standpoint, it's been really excellent as well. We've also starting to use it more in companies to support their well-being programs, and to actually get their employees to engage around alcohol, which is in general the missing element for most well-being programs in big companies.
Is that engagement around alcohol or the awareness of where they stand?
Yeah, the awareness that it is even an issue.
Yeah,
So we do quite a bit of kind of speaking and training, but having that kind of automated form that people can fill out, that's really helped us kind of get in and get people thinking about their own drinking.
I love that. Super helpful.
Mm.
So, what big initiative are you currently focusing on for your business, and how are you executing on it to continue to propel your business forward?
So, as I said, what we really want to do more of is work within big companies, because they all have well-being programs these days. They're all so keen on resilience, and they often talk about things like blackout blinds and yoga and marginal gains. And I've got nothing against yoga, I've got nothing against blackout blinds, but they won't help you if you're drinking heavily, you
Yeah.
know. And this whole kind of obsession with marginal gains is like, well, no, let's make some really serious gains, because if you actually look at the impact alcohol has, it's massive. I mean, it cost the American economy about $780 billion last year. That is not marginal. That is a pretty big gain. So we sort of like to try and get into companies and deliver really world class alcohol awareness stuff. So I've been building this super team of speakers, coaches, trainers. They're all experts in different aspects of alcohol awareness, whether that's performance, emotional intelligence, socializing, building community, or just in the HR, getting into the policies and getting into the procedures, or getting into culture as a wider kind of aspect. So we've got this amazing team, and we're now just doing an absolute ton of outreach, trying to get in front of the right people to help them, to really help them make their existing well-being program far more effective.
Yeah, that's incredible and sounds so worthwhile. And coming from 15 years in corporate, I mean, I'm out on my own now, so the culture is this, but I remember being in corporate and people would be like, "Hey, let's go have a happy hour," or going to a conference and everybody in the conference would go and drink afterward. And I'm not a big drinker, so it would be mocktails, and I would have 8 mocktails in the time that they were having their 8 alcoholic drinks. And
Yeah.
I just remember being like, this was really interesting as an observer at how casually okay this was, in a corporate setting with in the right corporate settings where alcohol was actually a really big proponent. So
Yeah,
to
I
have,
mean, the way I try and help people think about it is, if I gave your business a flammable, toxic chemical that was a known human carcinogen, what would you do? You would be talking about risk assessments, you'd be thinking about safe storage, you'd be training your employees, you'd like be sticking warning diamonds all over the
OSHA
place.
compliant.
Yeah, exactly. Unless, of course, it's whiskey, and then you give it to your clients as a gift,
Merry
and
Christmas.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And, alcohol is toxic, it is flammable, and it has been, you know, same class as cigarette smoke and mustard gas and plutonium and asbestos. That's how clearly carcinogenic it is. That's the company it keeps. And we just think of it as, oh well, of course you're going to a conference. Of course we'll give you loads and loads of alcohol. Whereas actually businesses should start to wise up to this, because recently, a bunch of Danish night workers managed to get compensation from their employees' insurance, their employer's insurance, because they developed cancer. And night work is only considered probably a known human carcinogen. Alcohol is definitely a known human carcinogen. And I don't think it's too long before we'll see somebody saying, well, you know what? I was told to go out and get the clients drunk, and I was told that if I didn't drink at the same time, the clients wouldn't trust me. And now I have one of the 8 cancers that is clearly linked to alcohol, and I am going to sue my employer. And like, if anybody wants to try that, I'm more than on board for helping out. And I do believe you have a few lawyers in America, so
Just a few.
honestly, I think it's coming.
Yeah. Oh, I can see the writing on the wall as well. Well, Duncan, this has been so enlightening, and you can see the passion and the love that you have for helping create this space of wellness programs within the world, and having people, and I actually have in your business description here, right? You work with organizations to make their well-being programs work, and you can see that you do that, and you help people get control of alcohol and to really create a space where people can be at their best. And so it's so amazing to be able to see that and to be able to interview you here today, and so appreciative of your time today. You also have a free resource for our watchers / listeners to help them in their journey, not just these organizations, but also the individual. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my last book, Get Over Indulgence, it has one real selling point for it: quite short. And I always thought, the best books are the ones that you actually read. So if any of your listeners / viewers would like a copy of it, just go to getover.uk. You can download the Kindle version, the PDF version, or if you can stand to listen to me doing silly voices for 2 hours and 45 minutes, you can listen to the audio version as well. So yeah.
Beautiful. Well, that link is also in our description of this live, so you can go check it out here. and Duncan Bhaskaran Brown. Thank you so much for joining us today. And those that are watching and listening, stay tuned. We'll have more incredible interviews with other great business owners coming soon. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll chat soon.